21 Black R&B legends who were actually mentally ill. What if some of the greatest black music legends of all time were fighting invisible battles while the world applauded their success? Behind the gold records, sold-out arenas, and unforgettable performances were men and women struggling with depression, addiction, anxiety, emotional trauma, and mental health challenges that few people ever knew about. Their smiles hid pain. Their success masked private suffering. Some managed to overcome those struggles while others tragically lost the fight. Tonight, we're revealing the heartbreaking stories behind these iconic artists and the hidden burdens they carried. Before we begin, subscribe to Golden Black Legends and let us know in the comments which story touched you the most and why. Donny Hathaway. Donny Hathaway's voice carried a depth of emotion that few singers in history have ever matched. Born in Chicago in 1945 and raised in St. Louis, Hathaway displayed extraordinary musical talent from a young age. He excelled as a singer, pianist, composer, arranger, and producer, building a reputation as one of the most gifted artists of the soul era. After studying music at Howard University, he began working behind the scenes before emerging as a recording star in the late 1960s. His breakthrough came through a series of critically acclaimed recordings that showcased both his technical brilliance and emotional honesty. Songs like A Song for You, The Ghetto, and Someday We'll All Be Free revealed a performer capable of transforming personal pain into unforgettable art. His collaborations with Roberta Flack produced timeless classics such as Where Is the Love and The Closer I Get to You, helping establish one of the most beloved musical partnerships in R&B history. Yet, behind the success, Hathaway was fighting a battle that few people fully understood. He was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, a serious mental illness that affected his thoughts, emotions, and perception of reality. During the 1970s, mental health treatment was far less advanced than it is today, and the condition often left him struggling with paranoia, hallucinations, and severe emotional distress. Friends recalled periods when he became deeply fearful and withdrawn even as he continued creating remarkable music. Despite these challenges, Hathaway refused to let his illness define him. He continued performing, recording, and inspiring audiences with songs filled with hope and humanity. Tragically, his life ended in January 1979 at just 33 years old. Though his career was brief, his influence remains enormous. Today, Donny Hathaway is remembered not only as one of soul music's greatest voices, but also as a symbol of resilience, reminding us that even extraordinary talent can exist alongside profound personal struggles. Phyllis Hyman. Phyllis Hyman possessed a voice that combined elegance, power, and emotional honesty, making her one of the most respected singers of her generation. Born in Philadelphia in 1949 and raised in Pittsburgh, she discovered her passion for music early in life. Standing nearly 6 feet tall with a commanding stage presence, Hyman quickly distinguished herself in an industry crowded with talent. By the late 1970s and throughout the 1980s, she had become known for sophisticated performances that blended soul, jazz, and adult contemporary music. Her recordings showcased a rare ability to communicate heartbreak, longing, and strength. Songs such as You Know How to Love Me, Living All Alone, and Old Friend became favorites among listeners who appreciated her emotional depth. Unlike many artists focused on commercial trends, Hyman built a reputation for authenticity. Every performance felt personal, as if she were sharing a private conversation through music. Behind the applause, however, she faced challenges that remained largely hidden from the public. Hyman struggled with bipolar disorder, a condition involving dramatic shifts in mood and energy. During a time when mental health issues were rarely discussed openly, many people failed to understand the seriousness of the illness. The pressures of fame, complicated relationships, and professional disappointments often intensified her emotional struggles. Even while carrying that burden, Hyman continued to create memorable music and deliver acclaimed performances. Colleagues frequently described her as intelligent, compassionate, and deeply committed to her craft. Her resilience allowed her to maintain a successful career despite battles taking place far from the spotlight. In June 1995, Phyllis Hyman passed away at the age of 45. Her death brought renewed attention to mental health awareness, particularly within the entertainment industry. Today, her music continues to inspire listeners around the world. More than a gifted vocalist, she remains a powerful reminder that emotional pain is often invisible, and that compassion and understanding can be just as important as talent and success. Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye is remembered as one of the greatest voices in music history, a performer whose artistry transformed soul and R&B forever. Born in Washington, D.C. in 1939, Gaye grew up in a strict household dominated by his father, a minister whose discipline often created tension and fear within the family. Those difficult, early experiences would leave emotional scars that followed him throughout his life, shaping both the man he became and the music he created. After joining Motown Records in the early 1960s, Gaye quickly rose to stardom with a string of hit songs. His smooth vocals and magnetic presence produced classics such as How Sweet It Is, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, and Let's Get It On. Yet his greatest artistic achievement came in 1971 with What's Going On, an album that addressed war, poverty, racial inequality, and social unrest. The record became one of the most influential albums ever made and elevated Gaye from entertainer to cultural voice. Behind the success, however, Marvin struggled with profound emotional difficulties. Friends and family described periods of severe depression, anxiety, and paranoia. As the pressures of fame increased, he became increasingly isolated. Drug abuse, particularly cocaine, worsened his mental state during the late 1970s and early 1980s. He often spoke about feeling overwhelmed by fear, loneliness, and inner conflict despite his worldwide fame. Yet even during his darkest moments, Gaye continued creating deeply moving music. His songs reflected vulnerability, hope, heartbreak, and spiritual searching in ways that resonated with millions. Listeners connected not only with his voice, but with the raw humanity behind it. Tragically, Marvin Gaye's life ended in 1984 at age 44 following a confrontation with his father. Though his story remains heartbreaking, his legacy continues to inspire generations. Today, he is remembered not only as a musical genius, but also as an artist who courageously transformed personal pain into timeless masterpieces. James Carr. James Carr possessed one of the most powerful and emotionally expressive voices in soul music, yet his career unfolded largely in the shadows of bigger stars. Born in Mississippi in 1942, Carr grew up surrounded by gospel music, which helped shape the passionate singing style that would later earn admiration from musicians and critics alike. Although he never achieved the commercial success of some of his contemporaries, many soul enthusiasts consider him one of the finest vocalists the genre has ever produced. Carr's breakthrough arrived during the 1960s with recordings that showcased extraordinary emotional intensity. Songs such as You've Got My Mind Messed Up and the legendary The Dark End of the Street became defining examples of Southern soul music. His ability to communicate heartbreak, longing, and vulnerability made every performance feel deeply personal. Fellow musicians often praised his voice for its sincerity and raw, emotional power. Behind that remarkable talent, however, Carr faced a devastating personal battle. He struggled with schizophrenia, a severe mental illness that affected nearly every aspect of his life. During an era when mental health treatment was often inadequate and poorly understood, Carr frequently experienced episodes that disrupted both his personal relationships and professional career. Concert cancellations, recording interruptions, and long periods away from the spotlight became increasingly common. Despite these challenges, Carr continued returning to music whenever possible. Producers and collaborators often spoke of the brilliance he displayed whenever he entered a recording studio. Even during difficult periods, his voice retained the emotional depth that made him unique. Unlike many artists whose careers followed a steady path, Carr's journey was marked by constant obstacles. Yet his influence grew over time as new generations discovered his recordings. When he passed away in 2001 at age 58, the world lost one of soul music's most underrated talents. Today, James Carr is remembered as a gifted singer whose extraordinary artistry endured despite years of struggle with mental illness and personal hardship. Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston's voice seemed almost limitless. With unmatched power, control, and emotion, she became one of the most successful singers in music history, selling more than 200 million records worldwide. Born in Newark, New Jersey in 1963, she grew up surrounded by musical excellence. As the daughter of gospel singer Cissy Houston and cousin of Dionne Warwick, Whitney appeared destined for greatness from an early age. Her rise to fame during the 1980s was extraordinary. Hits such as Greatest Love of All, How Will I Know, and I Wanna Dance with Somebody made her a global superstar. She later expanded into acting, starring in The Bodyguard, whose soundtrack produced the iconic I Will Always Love You. Her achievements shattered records and inspired countless artists across multiple generations. Yet behind the success was a woman facing enormous pressure. Houston carried the expectations of an industry that demanded perfection. Friends and colleagues later described how fame, personal relationships, and constant public scrutiny weighed heavily on her emotional well-being. Over time, substance abuse became a significant struggle, contributing to periods of instability and emotional distress. Although Whitney was never publicly diagnosed with a severe mental illness such as schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, many close to her acknowledged the psychological toll created by years of pressure, addiction, and intense media attention. As her personal difficulties became public, the contrast between her extraordinary talent and private pain became increasingly visible. Wow. Even during challenging years, Houston's artistry remained undeniable. Her voice continued to captivate audiences and her influence never diminished. Fans around the world remained connected to the emotional honesty she brought to every performance. When Whitney Houston passed away in 2012 at age 48, the music world lost one of its brightest stars. Today, she remains an enduring symbol of excellence, resilience, and vulnerability. Her story reminds us that even the most celebrated performers can face invisible struggles behind the spotlight. Sly Stone. Sly Stone revolutionized popular music by creating a sound unlike anything audiences had heard before. Born Sylvester Stewart in Texas in 1943 and raised in California, he demonstrated remarkable musical talent from childhood. As a singer, songwriter, producer, and multi-instrumentalist, Stone combined soul, funk, rock, and psychedelic influences into a groundbreaking style that transformed American music. During the late 1960s and early 1970s, Sly and the Family Stone became one of the most influential groups in the world. Their diverse lineup and innovative sound challenged social norms while producing classics such as Everyday People's Family Affair and Dance to the Music. The band's music celebrated unity, individuality, and social change, making them cultural icons during a turbulent era. Yet as success grew, Stone faced increasing personal difficulties. The pressures of fame, relentless touring, and creative expectations contributed to emotional instability and escalating substance abuse. Friends and associates frequently described periods of paranoia, isolation, and erratic behavior. His struggles gradually affected recording sessions, live performances, and relationships within the band. While many aspects of his mental health remain private, numerous biographical accounts have documented years of psychological challenges intertwined with addiction. These difficulties contributed significantly to the decline of both his career and public visibility. Despite this, his creative genius never disappeared. Even critics who observed his decline acknowledged the enormous impact he had on modern music. Stone's influence extends far beyond his commercial success. Artists ranging from Prince to George Clinton, Michael Jackson, and countless hip-hop performers have cited him as a major inspiration. His innovations helped reshape multiple genres and continue to influence musicians today. Now in his 80s, Sly Stone remains a legendary figure whose story reflects both remarkable achievement and personal struggle. His life serves as a reminder that creative brilliance and emotional hardship often coexist, leaving behind a legacy that is as inspiring as it is complex. Florence Ballard. Florence Ballard possessed one of the most powerful voices in Motown history, yet her story became one of the most heartbreaking in the music industry. Born in Detroit in 1943, Ballard was a founding member of the Supremes, the legendary group that helped define the sound of the 1960s. Alongside Diana Ross and Mary Wilson, she played a vital role in transforming the trio into one of the most successful female groups of all time. During the early years, Ballard's strong vocals and vibrant personality contributed significantly to the group's identity. As the Supremes climbed the charts with hit after hit, they became international stars and symbols of black excellence. However, behind the glamorous image, tensions were growing. As Motown increasingly focused attention on Diana Ross, Ballard often felt marginalized within the group she had helped create. The emotional impact of those professional struggles became increasingly severe. Financial problems, declining confidence, and personal hardships contributed to periods of deep depression. Friends later described a woman struggling to cope with disappointment and feelings of rejection. Alcohol abuse further complicated her situation as she attempted to rebuild her life after leaving the Supremes. Despite these setbacks, Ballard never lost her love for music. She continued pursuing opportunities and hoped to regain stability, but the challenges proved overwhelming. Her story reflected the harsh realities many performers faced behind the scenes, where public success often concealed private pain. In 1976, Florence Ballard passed away at just 32 years old. Her death shocked fans and highlighted the emotional toll that fame and personal adversity can create. Today, she is remembered not only as a founding member of one of music's greatest groups, but also as a talented artist whose contributions helped shape Motown history. Her legacy continues to inspire listeners who recognize both her extraordinary gift and the resilience she displayed throughout her difficult journey. Howard Tate. Howard Tate possessed one of the most emotionally powerful voices in soul music, yet much of his life unfolded far from the spotlight. Born in Georgia in 1939 and raised in Philadelphia, Tate developed his vocal style through gospel music before transitioning into rhythm and blues. By the 1960s, he had become a respected recording artist known for blending deep emotion with remarkable vocal control. His recordings captured both strength and vulnerability, making him one of the most admired singers among fellow musicians. Tate's breakthrough came through songs such as Ain't Nobody Home, Look at Granny Run Run, and Get It While You Can. His ability to communicate pain, longing, and hope distinguished him from many performers of the era. Critics frequently praised his expressive voice, while fans connected with the sincerity he brought to every performance. Although he never achieved the commercial success of some contemporaries, his talent earned lasting respect throughout the music industry. Behind the music, however, Tate faced devastating personal challenges. The tragic murder of his daughter deeply affected him, sending him into years of emotional turmoil. Grief, depression, and substance abuse gradually disrupted both his personal life and professional career. For a period, he virtually disappeared from the music world, leaving many fans wondering what had happened to the gifted singer who once seemed destined for greater fame. Yet Tate's story was not defined solely by hardship. During the early 2000s, he staged a remarkable comeback that surprised critics and delighted longtime supporters. Returning to recording and performing, he demonstrated that his voice and artistry remained intact despite decades of struggle. His resilience became an inspiring example of perseverance and redemption. When Howard Tate passed away in 2011 at age 72, soul music lost one of its most underrated talents. Today, his recordings continue to resonate with listeners who appreciate authentic emotion and timeless artistry. His life remains a powerful reminder that even amid profound grief and personal battles, hope and renewal can still emerge. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's impact on music, entertainment, and popular culture remains unmatched. Born in Gary, Indiana in 1958, he entered the spotlight as a child with the Jackson 5 and quickly became one of the most recognizable performers in the world. Blessed with extraordinary talent, relentless dedication, and unmatched stage presence, Jackson transformed himself into the king of pop, a title few would ever challenge. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, he shattered records with albums such as Thriller, Bad and Dangerous. Thriller alone became the best-selling album in history, with estimated worldwide sales exceeding 70 million copies. His groundbreaking music videos, electrifying performances, and innovative artistry redefined what a global superstar could be. Songs like Billie Jean Gets Beat It and Man in the Mirror became cultural landmarks that continue inspiring new generations. Yet behind the success existed a deeply complex individual. Jackson's childhood was marked by intense pressure, strict discipline, and the loss of a normal upbringing. Over the years, he openly discussed feelings of loneliness, insecurity, and emotional pain. Numerous biographers, friends, and associates described periods of anxiety, insomnia, and profound psychological stress. The constant media scrutiny surrounding his appearance, personal life, and legal controversies further intensified those struggles. While Jackson was never publicly diagnosed with a severe mental illness such as schizophrenia, many experts have noted the extraordinary emotional burden he carried throughout his life. His search for acceptance, privacy, and peace often appeared to conflict with the relentless demands of global fame. Despite these challenges, he continued producing music that connected with millions around the world. When Michael Jackson passed away in 2009 at age 50, the world mourned one of the most influential entertainers in history. His legacy remains larger than music alone. He demonstrated both the incredible rewards and immense pressures of superstardom, leaving behind a story filled with brilliance, vulnerability, and enduring cultural significance. Esther Phillips. Esther Phillips possessed a voice capable of conveying heartbreak, resilience, and raw emotion, unlike almost any singer of her generation. Born in Texas in 1935 and raised in Houston, she displayed remarkable talent from an early age. At just 14 years old, she won a talent competition that launched her professional career, introducing audiences to a vocalist whose emotional delivery would leave a lasting impression on American music. During the 1950s, Phillips found success with rhythm and blues recordings before later expanding into soul, jazz, and pop. Her ability to move effortlessly between genres helped her stand apart from many contemporaries. Songs such as Release Me and her acclaimed interpretation of What a Difference a Day Makes showcased her distinctive voice and artistic versatility. Critics admired her ability to transform any lyric into a deeply personal experience. Despite her talent, Phillips faced significant personal struggles. Substance abuse became a recurring challenge throughout much of her adult life. The pressures of the music industry combined with personal difficulties contributed to periods of instability that affected both her health and career. During an era when addiction and mental health issues were often misunderstood, many artists received limited support while dealing with serious emotional and psychological burdens. Even as she battled these challenges, Phillips continued recording and performing. Her determination and passion for music allowed her to maintain a respected career despite numerous setbacks. Fellow musicians often praised her courage and resilience, recognizing the strength required to continue creating art while confronting private struggles. By the late 1970s and early 1980s, she had earned renewed critical acclaim, proving that her talent remained extraordinary. Yet years of personal hardship had taken a toll. Esther Phillips passed away in 1984 at the age of 48. Today, she is remembered as one of the most soulful and emotionally expressive singers of her era. Her legacy endures through recordings that continue to demonstrate the power of honesty, vulnerability, and perseverance in music. David Ruffin. David Ruffin's voice helped define the sound of Motown during its golden era. Born in Mississippi in 1941, Ruffin rose from humble beginnings to become the unforgettable lead singer of The Temptations. With his powerful vocals, commanding stage presence, and emotional delivery, he transformed songs into timeless classics and became one of the most recognizable figures in soul music. After joining The Temptations in 1964, Ruffin quickly became the driving force behind many of the group's biggest hits. Songs such as My Girl, Ain't Too Proud to Beg, and Beauty Is Only Skin Deep showcased his remarkable ability to combine strength and vulnerability within a single performance. Audiences were captivated by his charisma, while critics praised the intensity he brought to every recording. Success, however, brought new challenges. As fame increased, Ruffin struggled with the pressures that accompanied stardom. Substance abuse gradually became a major problem, affecting both his professional relationships and personal well-being. His growing dependence on drugs contributed to erratic behavior, missed performances, and conflicts within The Temptations, ultimately leading to his departure from the group. Behind those public difficulties was a man battling emotional pain and instability. Friends and associates often described periods of depression, loneliness, and self-destructive behavior. Despite repeated attempts to rebuild his career, the combination of addiction and personal struggles continued to create obstacles throughout his life. Yet Ruffin's talent never disappeared. Even after leaving The Temptations, he remained a respected performer capable of delivering unforgettable live performances. His voice retained the passion and intensity that had made him a star in the first place. David Ruffin passed away in 1991 at age 50. Although his life ended tragically, his contributions to soul music remain enormous. Today, he is remembered not only as one of Motown's greatest singers, but also as a gifted artist whose extraordinary success was often accompanied by deeply personal battles behind the scenes. Rick James. Rick James built a reputation as one of the most electrifying and unpredictable figures in popular music. Born in Buffalo, New York, in 1948, he combined funk rock soul and showmanship into a style that was entirely his own. Charismatic, rebellious, and immensely talented, James became one of the defining artists of the late 1970s and 1980s, leaving a lasting mark on music and popular culture. His breakthrough arrived with hits such as You and I, Give It to Me Baby, and the iconic Super Freak. These recordings showcased his ability to create infectious grooves while maintaining a bold and distinctive personality. His albums sold millions of copies, and his influence extended far beyond the charts, inspiring future generations of funk, hip-hop, and R&B artists. Yet behind the larger-than-life image was a man facing significant personal challenges. James became heavily involved with substance abuse, particularly cocaine, during the height of his fame. Over time, addiction affected nearly every aspect of his life, influencing his relationships, finances, health, and professional decisions. Friends and colleagues often described periods of paranoia, mood swings, and increasingly erratic behavior. The consequences eventually became impossible to ignore. Legal troubles and public controversies overshadowed much of his later career, damaging the reputation he had worked so hard to build. Despite these setbacks, James remained an extraordinarily creative artist whose musical instincts never completely disappeared. What makes his story particularly compelling is the contrast between his confidence on stage and the struggles he faced away from it. His life reflected the dangers of excess, but it also demonstrated the remarkable resilience of a performer who continued creating despite mounting obstacles. When Rick James passed away in 2004 at age 56, the music world lost one of its most unique personalities. Today, his songs remain staples of popular culture, and his influence continues to be felt across multiple genres. His legacy is a powerful combination of extraordinary talent, cautionary lessons, and unforgettable musical innovation. Natalie Cole. Natalie Cole spent much of her life balancing extraordinary success with deeply personal struggles that few fans fully understood. Born in Los Angeles in 1950, she was the daughter of legendary singer Nat King Cole, a musical giant whose legacy cast a long shadow. From an early age, Natalie displayed remarkable talent, but she also faced the pressure of living up to one of the most famous names in entertainment history. Rather than relying on her father's reputation, she worked tirelessly to establish her own identity and eventually became one of the most successful female vocalists of her generation. Her breakthrough came during the mid-1970s with energetic hits such as This Will Be and Inseparable. Audiences embraced her powerful voice, vibrant stage presence, and ability to blend soul, R&B, and pop influences. Grammy Awards quickly followed and she became a major force in the music industry. Yet behind the applause, Natalie was quietly fighting battles that threatened to derail both her career and personal life. During the late 1970s and early 1980s, she struggled with severe substance abuse, including cocaine and heroin addiction. Those years brought emotional instability, professional setbacks, and periods of deep personal uncertainty. Natalie later spoke openly about her addiction, describing how it affected her mental and emotional well-being. Recovery was not immediate, but her willingness to confront her problems eventually became one of the most inspiring chapters of her life. Her comeback remains one of the most remarkable in music history. In 1991, Unforgettable, With Love, honored her father's legacy while introducing her to a new generation of listeners. The album sold millions of copies and earned multiple Grammy Awards. More importantly, it demonstrated her resilience and determination. When Natalie Cole passed away in 2015, at age 65, she left behind a legacy defined not only by talent but also by perseverance. Her story remains a powerful reminder that recovery is possible and that even after the darkest struggles, redemption and renewal can still emerge. Bobby Brown. Bobby Brown's rise to fame was fast, exciting, and at times overwhelming. Born in Boston in 1969, he first gained recognition as a member of New Edition, the groundbreaking group that helped redefine R&B during the 1980s. Even among a talented lineup, Brown stood out because of his charisma, confidence, and energetic stage presence. His ambition eventually pushed him toward a solo career, a decision that transformed him into one of the biggest stars of his generation. The release of Don't Be Cruel in 1988 turned Bobby Brown into a global sensation. Hits such as My Prerogative, Every Little Step, and Ronnie dominated radio and helped establish the new Jack Swing movement. Millions of records were sold, awards followed, and Brown became one of the most recognizable figures in popular music. At the height of his success, he seemed unstoppable. Yet fame brought enormous pressure. Brown often found himself under constant public scrutiny, and over time, substance abuse became a recurring problem. Alcohol and drug use contributed to legal troubles, strained relationships, and emotional instability. The intense media attention surrounding his marriage to Whitney Houston only increased the pressure, turning many personal struggles into public headlines. Throughout the years, Brown endured a series of heartbreaking losses, including the deaths of several close family members. Those tragedies had a profound effect on his mental and emotional health. In interviews, he has spoken candidly about grief addiction and the challenges of rebuilding his life after devastating setbacks. What makes Bobby Brown's story remarkable is his resilience. Despite mistakes, controversies, and painful personal losses, he has continued performing and sharing his experiences with honesty. His willingness to acknowledge his struggles has helped many fans better understand the human side of celebrity life. Today, Bobby Brown remains an important figure in R&B history. His influence on modern music is undeniable, and his journey serves as a reminder that success does not eliminate hardship. Behind the fame was a man fighting battles that many people never saw. Billy Preston. Billy Preston was often called the fifth Beatle, but that nickname only hints at the enormous impact he had on popular music. Born in Houston in 1946 and raised in Los Angeles, Preston displayed extraordinary musical ability as a child. By his teenage years, he was already performing alongside major artists, astonishing audiences with his mastery of the piano organ and keyboards. His remarkable talent would eventually place him among the most respected musicians of his era. During the 1960s and 1970s, Preston became one of the most sought-after session players in the industry. He worked with the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Ray Charles, and countless other legends. His contributions can be heard on some of the most celebrated recordings in music history. At the same time, he achieved significant solo success with chart-topping hits such as Will It Go Round in Circles and Nothing from Nothing, proving that he was far more than a supporting musician. Despite his achievements, Preston faced significant personal challenges. He struggled with substance abuse and periods of emotional turmoil that affected both his personal life and professional stability. Like many artists of his generation, he lived during a time when conversations about mental health and addiction were often hidden from public view. As a result, much of his suffering remained private while he continued performing and recording. Those difficulties occasionally interrupted his career, but they never erased his musical brilliance. Fellow artists consistently praised his creativity, generosity, and unique ability to elevate every song he touched. Even during difficult periods, Preston remained deeply committed to music. When Billy Preston passed away in 2006 at age 59, the music world lost one of its most gifted instrumentalists. His influence continues to be felt across multiple genres, from rock and soul to gospel and funk. More than anything, his story reminds us that extraordinary talent often exists alongside personal struggles and that true artistry can leave a lasting impact despite life's many challenges. Teddy Pendergrass. Teddy Pendergrass possessed a voice that radiated strength, passion, and emotional intensity. Born in Philadelphia in 1950, he rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most celebrated soul singers of the 1970s and 1980s. His journey to stardom began with Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, where his powerful vocals helped create classic songs such as If You Don't Know Me By Now and Wake Up Everybody. Before long, his extraordinary talent made it clear that he was destined for an even bigger spotlight. As a solo artist, Pendergrass became one of the era's most successful performers. Albums filled with romantic ballads and emotionally charged performances earned him millions of devoted fans. His concerts attracted enormous audiences, and his deep, commanding voice became one of the most recognizable sounds in R&B music. At the height of his fame, he represented confidence, success, and artistic excellence. Everything changed in 1982 when a devastating car accident left him paralyzed from the chest down. The tragedy shocked the music world and dramatically altered the course of his life. Beyond the physical challenges, Pendergrass faced enormous emotional and psychological hurdles as he adapted to a completely different reality. The transition required tremendous courage, determination, and resilience. Rather than surrendering to despair, he gradually rebuilt his life and career. Through rehabilitation, public appearances, and new recordings, he demonstrated remarkable strength in the face of adversity. His willingness to continue performing inspired countless people confronting their own challenges. Fans admired not only his talent, but also the perseverance he displayed after tragedy struck. When Teddy Pendergrass passed away in 2010 at age 59, he left behind a legacy that extended far beyond music. He remains remembered as a gifted vocalist, a survivor, and a symbol of resilience. His story continues to inspire audiences by showing that even life-changing hardship cannot erase determination, dignity, and hope. Luther Vandross. Luther Vandross possessed one of the most recognizable and emotionally rich voices in modern music. Born in New York City in 1951, he developed a passion for music at an early age and spent years refining his craft before becoming a household name. Long before his solo success, Vandross worked as a background vocalist and songwriter, contributing to projects for major artists including David Bowie, Chic, and Bette Midler. These experiences helped shape a performer whose attention to detail and vocal excellence would later set him apart from nearly everyone in the industry. His breakthrough arrived in 1981 with the release of Never Too Much, an album that immediately established him as a leading force in R&B. The title track became a classic, and a string of successful albums followed. Songs such as Here and Now, Power of Love/Love Power, and Dance with My Father showcased his ability to communicate deep emotion while maintaining flawless vocal control. Over the course of his career, he sold more than 40 million records worldwide and earned 8 Grammy Awards. Despite the admiration he received, Luther often carried immense pressure. He was known for being intensely dedicated to his work and frequently struggled with issues related to self-image, loneliness, and public expectations. Throughout his life, he maintained a highly private personal world, rarely discussing romantic relationships or emotional difficulties in public. Friends and colleagues often described him as sensitive, thoughtful, and deeply affected by criticism. In later years, health problems became increasingly serious. A stroke in 2003 dramatically changed his life, limiting his ability to perform and record. Yet even during this difficult period, he continued inspiring fans through his music and resilience. When Luther Vandross passed away in 2005 at age 54, the music world lost one of its finest vocalists. His songs remain beloved decades later, and his influence can still be heard in countless contemporary artists. His legacy endures as a symbol of excellence, vulnerability, and timeless musical artistry. Gerald Levert. Gerald Levert inherited a rich musical legacy, but he worked tirelessly to create one of his own. Born in Philadelphia in 1966, he was the son of OJ's legend Eddie Levert. While many expected him to follow in his father's footsteps, Gerald quickly proved he possessed a unique talent and powerful voice capable of commanding attention on its own. From an early age, he displayed remarkable confidence, charisma, and musical instinct. His rise began in the 1980s as a member of the group Levert alongside his brother Sean and friend Mark Gordon. The trio produced numerous R&B hits and developed a loyal fan base. Gerald later expanded into a successful solo career, releasing songs that highlighted his emotional delivery and songwriting abilities. Tracks such as Baby Hold On To Me, Thinking About It, and Mr. Too Damn Good helped establish him as one of the most respected voices in contemporary R&B. Behind the success, however, Gerald faced challenges that many fans never fully saw. The pressures of maintaining a demanding career, balancing family expectations, and coping with personal struggles often weighed heavily on him. Friends described him as generous and passionate, but also someone who carried emotional burdens privately. Throughout his life, he openly discussed periods of stress, heartbreak, and disappointment, experiences that frequently influenced his music. Levert's songs often resonated because they felt authentic. He sang about love, regret, vulnerability, and perseverance in ways that listeners found relatable. His ability to transform personal experiences into meaningful music became one of his greatest strengths. Tragically, Gerald Levert passed away in 2006 at just 40 years old due to complications involving prescription medications. His death shocked the music community and left fans mourning a career that still seemed full of possibilities. Today, he is remembered as a gifted singer-songwriter and performer whose emotional honesty continues to connect with audiences. His legacy remains a testament to talent, determination, and the enduring power of heartfelt music. Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige's journey from hardship to international stardom is one of the most inspiring stories in modern music. Born in the Bronx, New York, in 1971 and raised in the housing projects of Yonkers, she experienced poverty, family instability, and emotional trauma during her early years. Those experiences would later become the foundation of her music, allowing millions of listeners to connect with her honesty and resilience. When she emerged in the early 1990s, Blige introduced a fresh sound that blended R&B, soul, and hip-hop influences. Her debut album, What's the 411, established her as a rising star, while later releases such as My Life transformed her into a cultural icon. Unlike many performers who presented a flawless image, Mary openly expressed pain, vulnerability, and personal struggle through her songs. Fans appreciated her willingness to share experiences that felt genuine and relatable. Throughout her career, Blige has spoken candidly about depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, and the emotional wounds she carried from childhood. She has also discussed battles with substance abuse and unhealthy relationships. Rather than hiding these struggles, she gradually used them as opportunities for growth and healing. Her openness helped reduce stigma surrounding mental health within the Black community and inspired many people facing similar challenges. As her confidence grew, so did her success. She won multiple Grammy Awards, sold millions of records, and eventually expanded into acting, earning critical acclaim on screen. Yet despite the accolades, she never forgot the hardships that shaped her journey. What makes Mary J. Blige's story especially powerful is her transformation. She turned personal pain into art, survival into strength, and vulnerability into inspiration. Today, she is celebrated not only as the queen of hip-hop soul, but also as a symbol of perseverance. Her life demonstrates that healing is possible and that even the deepest struggles can become the foundation for extraordinary achievement. Tammi Terrell. Tammi Terrell's career burned brightly but far too briefly, leaving behind a legacy that continues to resonate with music lovers around the world. Born in Philadelphia in 1945, Terrell displayed extraordinary talent from an early age and began pursuing a professional singing career while still a teenager. Her warmth, charm, and natural vocal ability quickly attracted attention within the music industry. Although she recorded as a solo artist, her greatest success came through a legendary partnership with Marvin Gaye. Together, they created some of Motown's most beloved duets, including Ain't No Mountain High Enough, You're All I Need to Get By, and Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing. Their chemistry felt effortless, and many listeners believed they represented one of the finest vocal pairings in popular music history. The songs they recorded remain classics decades later. Behind the scenes, however, Terrell faced a devastating health crisis. In 1967, she collapsed on stage while performing with Gaye. Doctors later discovered she had a brain tumor, a diagnosis that changed the course of her life forever. Over the next several years, she underwent multiple surgeries and endured extensive medical treatment. The physical and emotional toll was enormous, particularly for a young performer whose career had only just begun reaching its peak. Despite immense suffering, Terrell demonstrated remarkable courage. She continued fighting her illness while maintaining hope for recovery. Friends and colleagues admired her determination, positivity, and refusal to surrender to despair. Her strength left a lasting impression on those who knew her personally. Tammi Terrell passed away in 1970 at only 24 years old. Her death devastated fans and deeply affected Marvin Gaye, who never fully recovered emotionally from the loss. Although her life was short, her influence remains extraordinary. Through timeless recordings and unforgettable performances, she continues to be remembered as one of Motown's brightest and most beloved stars. Aaliyah. Aaliyah's rise to stardom was one of the most remarkable stories in contemporary music. Born in Brooklyn, New York in 1979 and raised in Detroit, she displayed confidence and talent long before reaching adulthood. With a smooth voice, natural charisma, and sophisticated style, she quickly became one of the defining artists of her generation. By her late teens, Aaliyah had already established herself as a major force in R&B and pop music. Her debut album introduced her to the world, but it was later projects such as One in a Million and Aaliyah that showcased her artistic growth. Working with innovative producers, she helped shape a modern sound that influenced countless artists who followed. Songs like Are You That Somebody?, Try Again, and More Than a Woman demonstrated her ability to blend elegance, confidence, and emotional depth. She also expanded into acting, appearing in successful films, and building a promising Hollywood career. Despite her success, Aaliyah faced pressures familiar to many young stars. The demands of fame, constant travel, public scrutiny, and intense professional expectations required maturity beyond her years. Friends and colleagues often described her as calm and composed, yet they also recognized the enormous responsibility she carried while navigating a highly competitive industry at such a young age. What made Aaliyah unique was her balance of confidence and humility. She remained focused on growth continuously, seeking new creative challenges while maintaining a reputation for kindness and professionalism. Her future appeared limitless. Tragically, that future was cut short in August 2001 when she died in a plane crash at just 22 years old. The loss shocked the entertainment world and left fans grieving a talent whose greatest achievements may still have been ahead of her. Today, Aaliyah remains an enduring icon whose music style and influence continue to inspire new generations. Her story is remembered not only for its heartbreaking ending, but also for the extraordinary promise she brought to every stage she entered. As we've seen, behind the platinum albums, sold-out concerts, and worldwide fame were battles that many fans never knew existed. Some of these legends struggled with depression, addiction, anxiety, grief, or serious mental health challenges while continuing to entertain millions. Their stories remind us that success does not always protect a person from pain. In many cases, the brightest stars were carrying the heaviest burdens behind closed doors. But what do you think? Did fame make their struggles worse? Or would these challenges have followed them regardless of success? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey through music history, please like, subscribe, and join us for more stories on Golden Black Legends.